Welcome back,
everybody.
Suffering.
Sorry, I'm still...
Brandon's very excited about today's movie and episode. Welcome back, everybody, to Dead Air. If you're new here, my name is Siena Anzaldua, and we are joined back again with Mr. Brandon.
Hello.
Woo!
Hi, Mom. I didn't say that last time, and I should have.
Aww.
I know.
Well, hi, Brandon's mom.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're new here, we are kind of going on a gore bender here, body horror bender, if you will. Yeah. So this is our first installment of that genre, and today we're talking about 1987's Hellraiser, and oh my God, I'm so freaking excited. It's there's so much to talk about. So, of course, with every flippin' movie we ever do, we have to do the horror summary, okay? Sit back, relax, and if you haven't seen this movie before, go watch it right now and come right back. I'll be here.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Exactly.
Just like this. A thrill seeker named Frank Cotton discovers a mysterious puzzle box that opens a gateway to a horrifying dimension ruled by the sadistic Cenobites, who blur the line between pain and pleasure. After Frank is gruesomely torn apart,
we'll tear your soul apart.
Yes.
He is accidentally resurrected when his brother Larry moves into the house and spills blood in the attic. Frank's former lover, Julia, still obsessed with him, lures victims back to the house so Frank can drain their life force and rebuild his body. Meanwhile, Larry's daughter Kirsty uncovers the horrifying truth and encounters the Cenobites herself, learning that Frank escaped their realm. As Frank disguises himself in Larry's skin and his madness spirals, Kirsty must outwit both him and the Cenobites using the puzzle box before the house and everyone inside it collapses into chaos. And he was here before, and he's gonna... Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry. So, we are now going to do Siena's and Brandon. Brandon's thoughts. Siena's and Brandon's thoughts. Siena's and Brandon's thoughts.
That's right.
Woo! Okay, Brandon.
That's right.
What did you think about Hellraiser?
Oh, it's a classic. It is. It's such a good, a great actually representation of why the '80s, when it comes to movies in general, but horror movies for sure, nailed visual effects. Because the visual effects in this movie are again just they're so good. They're so realistic looking. I mean, when Frank's getting ripped apart by all the chains and stuff, it's just like.
It's so good.
It's crazy. And of course, it's with the times because they didn't have the technology to do the things that obviously they're doing now. But you see the result because those movies they're so impactful for that reason. It's because you almost feel it yourself. I think that's kind of what it is like you can kind of feel it. You can, oh God, like every time the nails were sticking in, it's like, oh my God.
It's so good.
You know, and then just from the start of the movie, you know, I always love movies that have that kind of mysterious, like, artifact or element, which I think is cool to kind of modernize an ancient, like, thing, you know, because there's not a lot of that anymore, you know, mythology or ancient artifacts and stuff like that. Like a lot of things are very modernized now, or it's ghosts, it's hauntings, it's all these things, but that was completely different. It was this like 1,000-year-old relic or whatever it was. What was the name of the box? Something with an L, right? There's an actual name. The Lament Configuration.
Yes!
The Lament Configuration.
Yes.
Which also, by the way, how funny that this is supposed to be like the most ridiculously hard thing to solve in the entire world. And two people just like casually solve it. Like they just kind of do it. So whatever, you know. But either way, I love movies that do that. That kind of tie in old themes and old mythology and history with modern elements.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's probably nothing more modern than what he did in 1987. I can't imagine there was much that had come out that was more shocking than watching this for the first time.
Absolutely.
Because obviously now, you know, there's been so many things that have been done, and this probably started and like sparked an inspiration for so many other movies that kind of follow. So to see this in 1987 being done with the Cenobites and Pinhead and this, like, you know, actually it makes me realize a little bit more. It does kind of tie into the times a lot, you know, with it being the 80s and on theme. But there was like a big anti-sex push in the 80s, you know, like that was a very big thing that they were focusing on because of things that were happening. The AIDS epidemic was going on at that time. So to have a movie that very much put that in the forefront of like, oh, you're gonna ask for this? That's cool. Watch what happens. Like, you're gonna get ripped apart.
Fuck around, you're gonna find out.
So I think it's like, it's really interesting to see how the era and the genre, the era and the times that were around could inspire so much of this movie. Yeah. You know, and it's really, and maybe not even just the movie, but the book, of course, too, which from what I heard, because I never read the book, but from what I heard, he didn't go off much from the book to the movie. Like, aside from the ending, from what I gather, that's the only thing that was like slightly adjusted. But from what I hear, it was basically the book. He took the book, turned it into a movie. There was not much that he changed, which is really cool.
Absolutely. So I love this movie so much because there is so much to love about it. Yeah. The special and practical effects of this movie are freaking insane, okay?
So good.
When you first see Frank come out of the floor and his arms go like this.
Oh my God.
And they're literally just skeleton arms, and but they're like gloopy and
that was
gross.
One of the, you know what? That's really good that you mentioned that scene specifically, because that is genuinely one of the best, I don't know what that kind of like transformation would be called, but like skeleton, zombify thing, whatever. That was one of the best ones that I remember seeing ever. Yeah. I mean, it was so well done. It was so realistic looking. It was great.
I think
it was so good.
Just that, and then the fact, like, as he eats more victims, he eats more people. Yep. The different layers that you see to his body. So you get his skeleton.
Love that too.
And then you get like not necessarily the muscle layer, but the layer before it.
His blood on the floor. It brought me back.
And then you get the muscle layer.
You're hurting.
You won't cheat me, will you? You'll stay with me, help me. Then we can be together the way we were before. We belong to each other now. For better, for worse.
And you can see the entirety of his vein system. You can see all the liquids when he touches Julia and he leaves like the blood all over her.
Can't love him.
You know I don't.
So where's the harm?
I said no.
Then find me somebody else before they come looking.
The attention to detail, that's what the attention to detail for something like that is
It's so
amazing.
Oh my god.
I really do like horror movies that kind of do that layering, gathering their flesh again. You know, and it's not necessarily a horror movie, but like it makes me think of The Mummy with
oh my gosh, yes.
Great too. But it reminds me of that, where as he's consuming and devouring more people, he's becoming whole and he's taking shape, and you see the holes in his face and stuff, and like, but with this, it's like you said, it was so layered, where you're seeing the layers of body basically forming.
Absolutely.
And it was so realistic looking. I mean, yeah, one of the best visual effects of movies I've ever seen, honestly. And if if you're not familiar with the movie, again, Sienna already said it. Go watch it. Go watch it, guys. You're doing yourselves a disservice, okay? If you're a movie fan, you need to understand why more movies need to go back to this type of creativity.
And I'm gonna be honest, I think that the farther that we're coming back into horror, I think the more actually we're getting into more practical effects.
Yeah.
You're hearing a lot of these movies, The Substance, just all these different movies.
I know we've touched on it too, but Terrifier
using more practical effects.
Yep.
And this is the originator. This to me is on par with the Thing. The Thing.
Yes.
And having just these two freaking Goliaths of a horror movie coming together and showing you the power of practical effects.
Yep.
Because honestly, again, it was remade like a few years ago. Horrific.
2022, I think, right?
Horrific.
I saw clips of that, and even just in the clips that I saw, the whole vibe and aesthetic was completely lost. Completely lost.
Completely different.
It looked campy. From the clips that I saw, it looked like they had turned it into like a campy horror movie.
Which granted, Hellraiser is somewhat campy, very minimally.
Yeah, but I feel like, and it's like you said, it's the practical effects, which that if the practical effects are great, that's going to already elevate what you're watching, because we've talked about this so many different times, but like when your mind starts to wander and your creativity starts to go, that can sometimes be the scariest thing.
Absolutely.
But when you see it for real and it looks real and you can visualize what you're seeing and paint, it's totally different. But you pair that with the incredible storytelling of this movie too.
Yes.
Because I think that's something that goes understated. And I will say it's because of the cheesy 80s acting. Like, it is what it is.
Hold on.
Okay, come on.
Hold on.
I love the movie.
Pause, okay.
I love the movie. I do. But are we not going to sit here and say the acting is kind of cheesy sometimes?
The acting is slightly cheesy.
Okay, that's
but
it.
Honestly,
but it's okay.
It's good acting.
No, it's not. It is not bad, and I'm not at all throwing shade. I'm just saying there are times. This is my last appearance on Dead Air, guys. Bye-bye.
This is great acting.
But
nobody could have played Pinhead like Doug Bradley.
No, and I don't mean you know what?
Like Ashley did.
I should preface the acting. I mean, from the living characters.
We're walking it back.
Yeah, a little. Because no, you're right. The Cenobites, all of the actors and actresses who played them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And from what I understand, the prosthetics on the mouth, the Chatterer, and then the other one, the chunky one.
Yes.
From what I understand, the prosthetics were so thick and so big that they actually couldn't do any lines anymore.
Brandon's fun fact.
That's my fun fact. I saw this, so I did a deep dive because I was so fascinated. I didn't realize the Hellraiser's universe went as deep as it did.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was 9 Hellraiser movies.
Yeah, to me there's only 2.
See?
The first 2.
See? That's what I thought. There was only 2.
That's it.
But I started looking at more things and I saw that was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
That the prosthetics were so thick. They ended up not talking at all.
Yeah.
And all of their lines, if not most, if not all of their lines, ended up going to the guy who was playing Pinhead and the female character.
Yes.
So she wasn't actually supposed to have many lines, but apparently she took on the lines of some of the Chatterer and the other guy because they couldn't talk.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, that's crazy though. We'll never get movies like that anymore, where the prosthetics and stuff will be so good that you literally have to change. And imagine if they wouldn't have done that, because I think that is a big reason why not only the movie, but Pinhead as a character took on that persona.
Absolutely.
Took on the lead antagonist of the movie because he was the one saying these things.
Yeah.
But the way he said them,
he said that,
dude.
This movie is iconic for so many different reasons.
Yep.
The aesthetics. I mean, you talked about the being sexual during the 80s.
Yeah.
You're talking about not just females but male sexuality too, because the Cenobites don't have a gender at all.
Nope.
So I mean, this is during the time when you have. I can't remember what it's called, but a lot in the gay community, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where, especially in the military, what is it called?
Don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
You have that kind of thing being hidden. You have
Yep.
all these different things. And what horror does, as I've said so many times before, what horror does is takes society's fears and puts them at our forefront.
Yeah.
And during this time,
Absolutely.
sex, being gay, all this kind
Yeah.
of stuff was scary to people during this time.
Yep.
And to have Clive Barker putting this at the forefront of this movie so blatantly, so beautifully, where you cannot argue that this really deserves such a place in horror history.
Yep.
To have that be during this time, be something that people are horrified by.
Yeah.
So iconic and is talked about, 40, 50 years later.
Yep.
Can't do math. 30 or 40 years later is so incredible. And I think that, to me, horror is really the only genre that can take those fears and have them still be prevalent during a different timeline.
Yeah.
So having this fear during the 80s and being that scared and then bringing it into the 2020s,
Yep.
is so incredible. I don't think any other genre could do that the way
No.
that horror does it.
No, 100%.
And it's so good. And then to go on to the pivot, to go onto the topic of the books. So I read Hellraiser. It's actually called The Hellbound Heart.
Yep.
Clive Barker, if y'all didn't know at home, is a very prevalent horror author. He wrote, obviously, The Hellraiser. It's a trilogy. So you have Candyman, which is under his short story, The Forbidden. You have, I don't know if you've ever seen Nightbreed, but that's another movie that's actually based on his book, Cabal. And then one of my absolute favorite movies ever is The Midnight Meat Train with Bradley Cooper. That one is also a short story of his that's called The Midnight Meat Train.
That's cool.
So I've only read The Hellbound Heart, which I need to, and I've been wanting to dive into his other books.
Yeah.
So I think just that layer is, I am a book nerd, okay? If you know me, you know I read a lot. His adaptation from The Hellbound Heart to Hellraiser is absolute frickin' perfection.
Yeah.
It is so close to the book that it almost feels like you don't need to read it, but you do. Read the book, okay? Read, people. It's very important.
Get out there and read.
Read. It's just, the book hits on that aspect of you're not seeing it, so you're imagining it.
Yeah.
Whereas the movie, you're seeing it, and it's absolutely beautiful.
And and let me ask then, as somebody who hasn't read the book.
Yes.
Because that's a very interesting take, because these creatures, this universe, the Cenobites, like all of this is it's very deep and it's very detailed. It's not like it's easy to just visualize that in your head. So I imagine, what was it like as somebody who read the books and watched those characters or creatures be brought to life? Do you felt like that was an accurate representation of what you read?
I do. So I think the thing about reading a horror book and then seeing it adapted to a horror movie is that a lot of the things that you are reading are up to your interpretation.
Yeah.
So the book does a great job because it's so detailed, but also it sort of leaves a layer blank for you.
Yeah.
So it's detailed to a point, and then the rest you have to fill in yourself. And the movie takes that blank and fills it in for you. So you're imagining it in your head, and then when you actually see it on screen, it is exactly how you imagined it.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
I loved that. I loved the different, to me, honestly, I actually liked movie Kirsty a little bit better than book Kirsty because, again, in the book, it is slightly different because you're getting more of Julia's POV rather than Kirsty's. But honestly, it doesn't really differentiate from the movie too much in that aspect. So I think the movie does a good job of taking Julia's perspective and Kirsty's perspective and putting it together.
Okay. I get you.
So I always, if there is a movie coming out and I want to watch the movie and there's a book, always read the book first.
Okay.
Always read the book first.
Yeah.
Because that's going to give you a great idea of what this movie is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And when you watch the movie, you can determine, is this a good adaptation? Hellraiser is freaking great adaptation.
And that's...
Go watch it. Go read it.
I have heard that from everybody else who has read the book. Everything I saw online, everybody said this is one of the best horror book adaptations to a movie.
Absolutely.
Not only just because the book is good itself, but he didn't change much, you know, and that's what we had touched on earlier was that, you know, there wasn't much that was changed for the book to the movie.
Absolutely.
Aside from maybe the ending being changed a little bit. And I don't know what was different in the book version. Do you remember that was...
Don't remember per se. I will put it in here, whatever.
Yeah, because I know in the movie ending, it's like she reverses the box, she reverses the lament, and then, you know, they get trapped back inside, but then it ends up back in the hands of the homeless person, which, okay, that part too was so cool. I love that when he turns into that like crazy skeleton dragon horse thing. That was fucking badass. That was so cool. But so I think that was the ending, and then it goes back into the hands of the drifter or whatever, whoever sold it, and he's selling it to someone else. Love that too. Yeah. Always love when movies end on the thing they started with, because then it also reinforces that message that whatever you're about to see is going to be a continuation. Like, this is not something that's going to just end because the movie ended, and it's because this is much deeper than these people. Yeah. And I think it goes to what the whole thing is. Like, Frank was going to look for this like crazy experience or whatever, and that's like at the end of the movie there's someone else coming to look for the experience too, because there always will be someone else. There's and that's the point. It's like, it's not going to end because this is always going to be there, you know, and so it's really cool.
I think you had talked about how these two people could solve this puzzle box perfectly, and I think that's where I don't want to call it whimsy because it's not whimsy, but that is
so much whimsy like here. It's so whimsical.
That's where like the fate aspect comes in. It's that Hellraiser, the lament configuration, is specifically for people who want to find it. Yeah. So it's a good point. To me, my interpretation of that is if somebody wants it that badly, they're able to solve it.
It's a really good point.
So that's why Frank is able to solve it, because he wants it more than anything. Yeah. That's why Kirsty is able to solve it, because she wants to live more than anything. Yeah. And that's that human nature aspect of this movie, is that wanting to live, that willing to do anything it takes to get what you want as a human, that curiosity that Frank has, that every human has, but to what extent is really what makes us.
What are you willing to lose for that?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. He wants to have this experience. Okay, what are you willing to give up? How are you able to blur the lines of pain and pleasure? Because they will tear your soul apart.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Prepare yourself. No, you've heard this one.
I have. I've heard it.
Siena's Music Mayhem segment. Siena's Music Mayhem segment. Okay, people, I hope you're ready, because the score for Hellraiser was composed by Christopher Young and is absolutely considered one of the most iconic scores in horror from the 1980s and honestly of all time. So, unlike a lot of the previous horror movies of the time, it really relied heavily on synthesizers. Hellraiser uses orchestra score, and giving this film that more gothic feel to it. And I think this is one of the reasons why this movie is so incredibly strong, is because it relied on a genuine orchestra rather than anything electronic or technic-y or whatever, which I think he could have used, and it just wouldn't have hit the same exactly.
No, for sure.
So the music is really what blends the beauty and the terror, and it also helps with the Cenobites, because they feel more mysterious and regal and otherworldly,
Yep.
rather than just being monsters. They're
Exactly.
monsters with a purpose, to be honest. So the main theme of this movie really features those sweeping strings of an orchestra, the booming brass, all those types of things that make up an orchestra is in this main theme,
Yeah.
and helps with that otherworldly presence right from the jump of this movie.
And he says, and I know you had mentioned it too, but like gothic is the perfect word.
Absolutely.
It's like totally fits that aesthetic and that theme is that orchestra, the kind of grand piano sound
Yeah.
and like the organ sound. It's like
it's so good.
Yep.
So, Christopher Young really wanted to approach the Cenobites as sort of dark explorers instead of your standard villain. So this is why, and this is where we get the blend of sort of seductiveness and that eerie feel, because that's exactly what the movie touches on, and that's exactly what the Cenobites represent throughout the movie.
Yep.
So I think that is so cool. Then, when we go into more of the scenes and the character scores, you get Julia's themes, which are more emotional, more tragic, and this reflects more of her obsession with Frank.
Yeah.
And you can tell that through their score. Whereas during one of the most iconic scenes, which is Frank's regeneration when he's coming back, the score is more chaotic and dissonant, and
Yep.
it creates that, and it helps you as the audience feel that as you're watching it. And so, again, the Cenobites' appearances are always accompanied by that heavy brass and ritualistic sound, which
Yeah.
is really interesting in this movie because you also get this in Rosemary's Baby, where you're getting that really ritualistic feel, and that just enhances the characters within that scene, especially with the Cenobites. So Young also fought a lot for that richer orchestral sound, despite the film's very limited budget. So it was really important to him to have that orchestra rather than the synthy sort of sound during that time.
That's cool.
Yeah, so the soundtrack actually became hugely influential on later Gothic horror scores, and is that it's still, praised as one of the strongest horror scores.
Yep.
And it's iconic for so many different reasons.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I know, as somebody who's a huge music fan, as somebody who thinks that music can also change and alter what you're watching, it's like we talked about last week. This was great. I thought the whole theme was so on point with that gothic kind of orchestra feel with the Cenobites, because you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And so the fact that there's this like mysterious, eerie sound and music that plays that every time they come onto screen, it does reinforce when you're watching that, like, oh, we're seeing things or we're seeing people that are like beyond what we can comprehend almost, or like this is, and it does kind of help their aura and their mystique amplify more too, with the fact that every time they're on screen, you hear this specific music that way, and it's so well done. So well done. Yeah.
And to me, that just adds, like I said before, it adds to their otherworldliness.
Yep.
So when you hear it, you automatically know, oh crap, the Cenobites are coming.
Yeah.
You know that they're coming.
Yep.
So I think it's just so good, and it just pivot. We are going into our next little segment, and you guys are all familiar with it. Let's see if Brandon is. We are on to Scare-O-Meter. That meters as you get scared. Scare-O-Meter. That meters as you get scared.
I didn't know there was a second one. Dang it. Okay. I was close. I was so close.
Hey, no, you did great.
That means the third one, I'm going to nail it. So watch, guys. Next time, I'm going to start it before she does, actually. Next time. And
Okay.
see,
I'm going to
watch.
hold you to that.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Do it.
So, Brandon, how would you rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say a solid 8.4 for me. 8.4. And I mentioned this and got some pushback from Siena, but there are times when the acting's a little corny from the Frank's brother and Julia, hussy, Julia, that crazy hussy. How dare she? Larry's just trying to be a good husband.
Hussy.
She's.
Are you 75?
A
hussy?
I was putting it lightly for you, Julia.
It's in Frank from It's always saying
Yes.
a whore.
Whore! 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 Whores! Whores! Whores!
Whores. Exactly.
8.4?
But I think that's pretty pretty damn good.
For me, this is like a 20 out of 10.
See, that's not even, how can you even, the meter's out of 10, and
Yeah.
I think so far,
So,
every movie has been 10 plus.
hold on. Don't
I've been on-
slander me like
Not
this.
slang- Just
It's slander.
Statement of fact.
And you'll be hearing from my lawyer. His name's Pudge. He's not great, but please act scared. No. And the reason I will say it is 20 out of 10. First of all, yes, the acting is not great, but that's what makes it better, okay? This is the 80s, okay?
Yeah.
Even the acting in The Thing is not great,
very
okay?
true. It's
So,
very true.
you know what? I don't want to hear the slander from you because the acting, was it great? No. But it was also great. So
It's a good point.
It
Because
was so good.
the Cenobites, every one of them were so good. They played those parts so well.
So well.
Yeah.
So that's one reason. The second reason is the special effects. The special effects cannot be frickin' beat. Okay?
No, they're so good.
They're so amazing. The gore of it, all of that kind of thing. The meaning behind this movie, just all of these different elements that we get are the reason why it is a 20 out of 10 for me. And you're wrong. So
Well, okay, combined,
never
it's a
coming out again.
28.4 out of 20, so that's pretty damn good. Okay?
28.4 out of 20.
That's combined, yeah, between me and you. Oh. Because I did 8.4, and so that's still
I
really
didn't know you were
good.
combining them. That's new.
We just did.
Very good.
Just did it right. That's,
Very good.
Yeah. So, there we go.
Okay, great. So that's it, folks. That's all she wrote. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Brandon, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us this evening. I can't wait to traumatize you again sometime. For our next movie, talk about trauma.
What's the next one?
Because the next one is Eli Roth's Green Inferno.
Eli Roth.
He's
So-
probably
oh,
my
he's-
absolute favorite horror director ever in existence.
You're going down a road, I imagine,
I'm
now.
going
for
down
the,
a road.
Oh, this is going to be
Everyone
fun.
better be prepared. I don't know if Brandon's going to join us. I don't know if he can take this trauma again. It is Terrifier level, so we'll see.
Yeah. Still have nightmares from those movies.
Sorry, pal.
It's okay.
Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. As always, remember, folks, don't split up and don't go into the basement. Bye.
Bye.